Alright, hey guys, She Detector here. So I'm not quite sure where exactly to start, so I guess I'll just start on what happened in the past that brought me to where I am today. So probably, about a year, maybe 2 years ago, I was listening to The Kane Show on my way to work. Shout out to The Kane Show. I was listening to The Kane Show on my way to work, and they were talking about this little girl here in the Tampa area who had, I believe it was leukemia, and she needed a bone marrow transplant. And they tested everybody in her family, and nobody was really a match for her. Her dad was the closest match, but it wasn't the ideal match. So they were asking people in their listening area, which isn't just Tampa, they're actually in several cities and states, but they were asking for people to go and get swabbed to see if they were a potential match for her to try and save her life. So on my way home from work one day, I stopped by the Wing House on Gulf to Bay and I got swabbed to see if I was a match for her. I wasn't, but they added me to the bone marrow register. And it's exactly what it sounds like. If somebody needs bone marrow and you're in the register and you happen to be a match, then they contact you and ask you to donate. So I was added to the register. So it is November 27th today. Sometime in September, I don't remember the exact date. Sometime in September, I received a call saying that I was a potential match for somebody who was needing a donation. So I was like, okay, wow, this is great. You get added to the register and you're just like, yeah, it'd be great if I matched with somebody one day, but it's almost like winning the lottery. You hope it'll happen, but you never really expect it to happen. So they contacted me and said I was a potential match for somebody. And they wanted me to go do labs so that they could get some blood and, do additional testing to see if I was indeed a match. So I went. And I think, again, that was in September sometime. And so I went to the lab in the morning before I went to work, and they had to do 8 vials of blood. And they were on the 5th vial, and I passed out. So I was like, oh man. So I passed out and I woke back up and they were like, are you okay? And I said, yeah. But they still had 3 more vials to go. And they were like, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I'm here. Let's just, finish. So they went from one arm to the other arm and they finished. So I went back to work. No big deal, whatever. So it was like, I don't know, I think 3-4 weeks later, maybe, so now we're into October, they contacted me again and said, hey, we got your labs, you are a match for this guy who needs a donation. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, this is awesome. So I'm like, okay, great, so what's the next step? So they said, okay, well, we need you to do a physical and do some more labs. And I said, okay. So I go, I do the physical, I'm medically cleared, I do some more labs, and then it was a couple of days later, and they said, oh, hey, the place you went to forgot to do 2 tests, you have to go back. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So I had to go back, I did 2 more tests, and we're good. So just yeah, everything's good, you're medically cleared. And then they said, we need you to go do a pregnancy test. And I'm like, okay, because you have to do it. You can't be pregnant if you're going to be donating. So I was like, okay. So I go and I do, or actually I'm on my way now to do that last pregnancy test. And I'm not pregnant. I know I'm not. I did a pregnancy test previously in my first set of labs, but you have to have one, I think, within 14 days of your donation before they'll clear you to actually donate. So I'm going to do that today, and after today, then in 2 weeks, so on December 9th, I will be flying, me and my husband will be flying from Tampa we fly into DC on the 9th, and then on the 10th I do my actual donation. So it's like really exciting. I'm excited, but I'm scared too. And the reason why I'm scared is because I passed out when I did my first labs. So now I've passed out before doing, what did I do? It was like vaccines. But this was when I was like a teenager. I was getting just regular vaccines and I passed out. And ever since then, I've been like, you know, kind of worried whenever I get shots, worried I'm going to pass out again. And, you know, I haven't passed out in years. And then when I did my first set of labs for this, I passed out and I really couldn't believe it. And it really made me concerned because I was told that when you're doing the donation, you have to be fully awake for it the entire time. So let me give you some more information about the donation. So there are two kinds of donations you can do when it comes to bone marrow. So traditionally, if somebody says, you know, I'm a bone marrow donor, traditionally it was you would have to go into surgery and they would actually drill into a part of your hip. It's like in the back side, not the front, but it's in the back part of your hip, and they drill into your bone and then they actually take out bone marrow from the inside of your hip bone. That's the traditional method, and that's what most people think of when you say you're doing bone marrow donation. But there's also a second kind of method, which according to all the research that I've been doing lately, it's what they're using more and more often because it's, I guess, better or easier. And it's peripheral stem cell donation. And what that is they essentially hook you up to almost like a dialysis machine where you've got an IV going in one arm, and that's where your blood comes out of. It goes into a machine that separates out your stem cells and your white blood cells, and then there's another IV in your other arm, and they pump your blood back into you minus the stem cells. And I'm not quite sure what they do with the white blood cells, but it's kind of like a cleaning, filtering machine where they take your blood out, they take what they need, and then they put your blood back in. That is apparently the method that's mostly used nowadays. The particular person that I'm donating to, he has a form of blood cancer, and as soon as they told me what kind of cancer it was, I immediately knew what kind of donation I was going to be doing. I had no doubt in my mind. They didn't even tell me yet. They said he's got, I forget what they call it. It's like myo something kind of. It's, I don't know, a big name for cancer, myo something, but it's blood cancer. As soon as they told me, I said they're going to want stem cells, which is when I got really concerned because if I pass out, they have to stop. And that's not good. So that's why I'm kind of concerned and scared about it because I don't want to pass out. And I'm going to try my damnedest to not pass out. So, yeah, so that's all of the things that got me to where I am today, which is driving to the LabCorp in Clearwater to do my last set of labs before we fly out. So I have to do these labs today, and then I believe next week the guy who I'm donating for is going to start, what do they call it? His prep regimen, which I believe means he has to either do another round of chemo or another round of radiation. And so, like, today is the last set of tests before they have him start his prep, because they don't want him to start his prep if something comes up and I can't donate. So, like, if I end up being pregnant today, then they won't have him start his prep because I won't be able to donate to him. But I'm not, so I'm good. So, yeah, so we're down to less than 2 weeks before I do my donation. So it's really exciting. I still can't really believe it's happening, but I'm excited, and I'm excited to bring you guys along on this journey with me. So I'm recording today the last set of labs that I have to do, and I wish I had started recording previously, but honestly I hadn't really been thinking about it. It was just more, I was more thinking about this is actually happening, you know, what do I need to do to get ready, to stay healthy and everything. But yeah, so I'm glad that I'm able to bring you guys along on this journey with me. And yeah, it'll be a learning experience for all of us because I've never done this before. So yeah, I'm excited.
Go ahead and make fist. All right, I'm gonna use that vein right there.
Okay.
Just drawing 4 tubes, so it's not a big deal. Vein's good.
I drank a lot of water this morning. They always say it's easier when you're hydrated, so.
Okay, a little stick.
Alright guys, so I just finished my last set of labs to do the donation. It wasn't terrible. I think she was switching over to the 3rd vial, and I felt like, I don't know, like a tiny wave of dizziness, like not really even dizziness, just almost like you stood up too fast type thing. So I asked her just to slow down, because part of me wonders if when I passed out the first time, if it was because my blood pressure dropped too low. The first time they did, like I said before, they did 8 vials, and it was on the 5th vial that I passed out. So that's why I was like, okay, well maybe if they were taking like too much blood too quickly, then my blood pressure dropped. So when she was switching to the 3rd vial, I was like, you know, just slow down a little bit, hang on, just to make sure I'm good, and I was fine. So yeah, so we're done. So now they're gonna ship my blood samples off. I don't know where they go, but they ship them off somewhere, and then I'm sure they'll call me either later this week, or I feel like probably by Friday they'll call me and let me know that everything's good to go. And then it's not this Sunday, but next Sunday we fly out to DC to do my donation. All right guys, so yesterday I did my labs, the ones that you guys just saw, and I went back to work afterwards, and probably like, I don't know, 2 hours after I got back to work, I got a text message from the liaison that I've been working with from Be The Match, who said that the pregnancy test wasn't in the system, so the people at LabCorp didn't do it. And she asked if I could go back sometime this week to do the pregnancy test part. So I am driving back to LabCorp today to go do that test, which it's through blood is how they test it. So I have to do another vial of blood, and I'm assuming it's just going to be 1 vial, but I'm not positive. So I'm driving on my way back to LabCorp to do that right now. Hopefully my last lab for now. I don't know, this is the 2nd time I've had to essentially do a redraw, is what they call it, because you know, something got either left off the order or it just didn't get done, something like that. So that was it. So, and I forgot to mention, I know yesterday when I was leaving from doing my labs, I had said that the next time I would talk to you guys or see you guys would be when I'm actually, you know, getting on the plane to go to DC. But I forgot to mention that beforehand, 5 days before I do the actual donation. I have to get injections to boost or increase my stem cell count. And so it's for 5 days. So today is Wednesday, the 28th. So I will be starting the injections not tomorrow, but next Thursday. And I believe the drug it's called filgrastim, I think. So yeah, I have to do that. It's 1 injection per day for 5 days, starting on Thursday, and then my last injection is on Monday, the day that I actually donate. And like I said, it's supposed to increase stem cell production, and I guess there's some side effects to it. They were saying that you could be nauseous, you could experience some pain in your bones, and they said you're most likely going to experience that because your bones are actually creating or making more stem cells. So they said if you experience pain in your bones, then you know the injections are working, because that's your body making a bunch of stem cells. So the next time I see you guys will be next Thursday. I have to go, for the first injection, I have to go to a place for them to do it. And they do that because they want to make sure I'm not going to have an adverse reaction to the medication. And then the remaining 4 days, they will send somebody to me, either at work or at home, to do the injection for me, like a traveling nurse. Now, I'm not sure how it's going to work on the Monday of my donation. I'm guessing they'll do it like when I get there, perhaps, and then wait, I don't know, for however long for it to get into my system, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it works on the day of the injection. But that's when you guys will see me the next time, is when we start my filgrastim, I think, injection.